To you today about a topic that we don't hear much about at all in the church and from the pulpit. And I believe this will help every one of you. I believe from the bottom of my heart that the Lord is leading me to teach this series. It's going to be a 4-part or a 5-part series as the Holy Spirit will allow me to get into. I want to speak to you on the topic, managing your God-given resources. Say with me, managing your God-given resources. Managing your God-given resources. Take a pen, take a paper, take an iPad, jot down something. This series will bless your heart. And it will, if you take it serious, what I'm about to say, it will turn your life around. It will turn your life around. It will turn your future around. I'm not talking about only your spiritual life, but also your financial life, your professional ambitions, and everything is embedded in this series that I'm about to teach. Managing your God-given potential. Turn to someone and say, it's already given. I just have to utilize it. In order to utilize it, I need knowledge. I need understanding. And I need wisdom. One of the most important keys of the kingdom that Jesus was referring to when he said, I will give you the keys of the kingdom, is the principle of management. Remember, not long ago I preached about the keys and access. When Jesus said to Peter, and I will give you the keys of the kingdom. Remember, I told you on that during that message that it's not key, but it's what? Keys. Meaning it's plural, and meaning that it's different keys opening different doors. So this message is kind of connected to that. So today, my purpose here, and today is going to be just an introduction. My purpose here is to introduce you to one of the keys of the kingdom that is known as the principle of management. The principle of management. Talking about management is the most absent component in our church purpose today. Someone will say, but Pastor, are we in a lecture room? Are we in a college classroom for you to talk about management? I'll show you why. And by the end of this introduction, you will see why there is the need for every one of us to have that knowledge. So although it is the most absent component that one will ever hear in the church pulpit, at the same time, it is one of the things that Jesus spoke most about in his parables. And as we go on, I'm going to cite different parables. And I'm going to show you how Jesus was teaching this principle of management to his disciples. Now, the average pastor or the average minister started the ministry with almost no knowledge on the subject of management. And yet management is the key to your success in life, in ministry, and in everything that you do. The bishops and the clergy just laid hands upon them, anointed them, prayed for them, and told them you are ready for ministry. You are ready for ministry. Go. Go and make a havoc of yourself. Go and make a wreck of yourself. You are ready for ministry. No wonder many has failed and many have made a shipwreck of their ministry. And not just their ministry, but their own lives. Many are discouraged, and many ministers and people of God, they quit even before they make any headway. Now, to be honest with you, I was one of those. But thank God, I've always learning, and my wife will tell you I'm a fast learner. When I make a mistake today, Sister Rose, I will never make that mistake anymore. I will never allow it to repeat. Why? Because I look in advancing and moving forward. Because of the lack of management, many believers are embarrassed. Oh Jesus. I mean embarrassed. Embarrassed because they quote scriptures like God owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. Yeah. And they're still renting. If God owns the cattle on 1,000 hills, why are you not seeing any of these in your life? Some claim my cup runneth over, Psalm 23. Meanwhile, they ain't got a drop in their cup. My God. Others claim the wealth of the wicked is laid for the righteous. Meanwhile, for most part of their life, they have been borrowing from the wicked. Can you take a deep breath? I'm going to touch some grounds today. So many are embarrassed. They are embarrassed because they are not experiencing firsthand what they are quoting. And the reason I will show you today is because we have avoided the most important principle of kingdom life, and that is management. Management. To our young people, if any of you want to go into ministry, full-time ministry, I strongly advise you to study business management instead of theology. I'm going to say some things today that are going to shake your theology and shake your understanding and shake. I will advise you to study what? Business management. Amen. Instead of theology. Amen. Because when you study business management, you will know how to manage God's resources. Amen. The theology, you read the Bible and you pray and you fast and you ask God for understanding. God, through the Holy Spirit, will bring revelation. Alright, we need to study business management even if you want to go into ministry. Why? Because what? Because the kingdom of God is a government. Yes. And governments are in the business of management, delegation, and distribution of resources. Amen. Hallelujah. Amen. Religious people believe that God operates on emotions. But that is wrong. God operates on principle. Everyone say principle. Principle. Say principle. Principle. Say it louder. Principle. Principle. God does not operate on emotions. So when they get a little emotion gig or emotion kick in, they feel, you know, I went to church, there was some display of emotion, I'm good. But God does not operate on emotions. God operates on principle. God operates on principle. That is why many have lost their homes, they have lost their cars, they have lost their businesses because they were operating on emotion. Alright, but your business operates on principle. Your life operates on principle. Alright? Everything that you want to do operates on principle, not emotions. So for the lack of management and how to manage in the lives of people, many have filled that vacuum with greed. Me, myself, and I, the unholy trinity. Me, myself, and I, they think about themselves alone, and they are in a race to grab everything that comes, that they come across for themselves and for themselves only. And a greedy spirit will manipulate resources, so he or she will be the only beneficiary of that resources. That's a greedy spirit. And Jesus says something very serious about greed. Let's read Mark chapter 7 verse 20. Mark chapter 7. Let's read together. Let's read it on the screen. Let's read together.
For from within, out of the heart of man, proceed evil thoughts, adultery, fornication, murder, theft, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, and evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness.
All these evil things come from what? Within. It comes from within.
God, my God.
Hallelujah. It comes from within and it defiles a man. Now watch carefully. Watch these words. When you watch these words very carefully, they are all interconnected. Every one of them, they are interconnected. A greedy person is a malicious person. A malicious person is, a maliciousness results in folly. The word folly means foolishness. Right? Foolishness results in deceit. That's why the Bible says, for a fool will say in his heart what? There is no God. Why? Because deception sets in because he's foolish. So every one of these words, can you give me a little volume because my voice, I'm struggling with my voice. Thank you. So every one of these words are interconnected. And Jesus gave some warning also in Luke chapter 12 verse 15. Can we read it? Luke chapter 12 verse 15. Let's read it together.
And he said unto them, take heed and beware of covetousness, for a man's life consisteth not in the abundance of things which he possesses.
This is serious. He said a man's life does not consist of the abundance of the things he possesses. Say with me, stop. Say stop. Stop. Say stop. Stop. We have a lot of stuff in our homes, in our houses, in our living rooms, in our bedrooms, and yet still we are craving to have more stuff. Say stop. Stop. Say stop. Stop. But the Bible is telling, Jesus is telling us that your life does not consist of stuff. Your life is more important than stuff. Material stuff. Then we have to be very careful with greed, because greed have a way of sneaking in on us unawares. And you are greedy and you are being greedy and you think that this is your righteous indignation. It's not righteous indignation. You're being greedy. We have to be very, very, very careful. We all know in 2007, 2008 and 2009 when there was this global financial crisis. That was during when George Bush Jr. was in office. And we all remember, if you remember, giant companies were failing and falling on their faces. Wall Street companies were failing, and all the analysts could say was that it was all due to greed. Greed. Mr. Madoff made off with millions of dollars. And today, he lost everything and he found himself in an 8 feet by 12 feet concrete cell because of greed.
Amen.
Be watchful, be careful, be mindful. Now I want to show you something that will blow your mind. I know many of you have not seen this scripture. Can you put on the screen Genesis chapter 2 verse 5? Genesis, I want us to read it as loud as we can. I want to show you something. Genesis chapter 2 verse 5 is up there. Let's read it together.
And every plant of the field
Before it was in the air.
and every herb of the field before it grew. For the Lord God had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man that was able to ground.
The Lord created the plants, right, and the shrubs and the flowers and everything in Genesis chapter 1 verse 11, the first chapter of Genesis. But when we go to the second chapter of Genesis verse 5, it's saying that, and every plant of the field before it was in the air, and every herb of the field before it grew, for the Lord God had not caused it to rain, because there was no man. Everyone said no man.
No man.
There was no man to till or to work the ground. What he's saying is that after God created all the plants and all the flowers, can you imagine the world without any life? There was no plants, there were no flowers, there were nothing was growing. And the Bible says that God intentionally withheld the growth of plants and flowers and shrubs and herbs. Why? Because there was no rain. And why was there no rain? Because there was what? No man. In other words, God was withholding growth. God was holding back progress because God had a problem. And what is the problem? There was no rain. And why was there no rain? Because God said that there was no man to work the ground. Now, he didn't say God refused to create plants and herb and shrub because there was no rain. No. God had at that time created it already. It's in the ground. But the Bible said that God stopped it from growing. Watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this. God stopped it from growing. Why? Because God said, you know what? I have a problem. If I allow these plants to grow, and these flowers to grow, and these bushes to show up, God said, I have no man to take care of it. So that was the first time God ever had a problem. That was the first time God ever had a problem. The first time God ever had a problem, he created the plants and the herb and the flowers and everything with the potential to grow. But God withheld its growth. Can you imagine? God withholding growth. God withholding what? Advancement. God withholding progress. And the reason why God was withholding progress is that there was no man to tilt the grounds. The word ground is a Hebrew word Adama. Say Adama.
Adama.
And the word man is the Hebrew word Adam. So there was no Adam to tilt the Adama. So the name Adam simply means black earth. It simply means soil, black earth. Right? Soil was Adama. And when God created man, he called him what? Adam. Meaning he's coming from what? Adama. He's coming from the earth.
Yes. Oh yes, Lord Jesus.
So that is what you are. And I want you to know that the devil is not afraid of this.
That's right.
Because the devil knows that this is a piece, it's just a piece of junk, a piece of soil. scripture, I said, wow. God said, I can allow the plants to grow. I can allow the flowers to spring up. I can allow the herbs to grow. Why? Because there is no man. No man to tilt the ground. I look for the word, the meaning of the word till, to till. And that word is the Hebrew word abad. A-B-A-D, abad. And that word actually means to manage. Everyone say to manage.
Manage.
That's what it means, to manage. The Hebrew word abad means to manage. So God is saying, I won't let anything grow. I won't let anything flourish. I won't let anything advance because I have a problem. If I allow it to grow and to flourish, I don't have man to take care of it. So, listen to this. You are not a manager because you have worked for a company for 30 years and decide to give you a new title called manager and to give you a little few more dollars more. You are a manager because God, that is how God created you. He created you as a manager to manage. And God expects you to manage. Some of you are waiting for somebody to give you the title manager. And then you go boasting and raising your shoulders. I'm a manager on the job, you know. Oh, you forgot you were created as a manager. God created it to manage because God said, if I don't find a manager, I'm not going to let any plant grow. I'm not going to let any herb grow until I find a manager. Everyone say manager. Manager. Say with me, manager. Manager. So, why did God create you? God didn't create you to sing on the choir. God didn't create you to be an usher. God didn't create you even to preach. God, the purpose for God creating you is for you to be what? A manager. Manager of your own life. Manager of every gift and talent. Manager of every resources. Turn to your neighbor and say, I am a manager. The question is, are you managing well? That's the question. Now, you know what this means? This means that God will stop things from growing and progressing and developing when there is no manager. That's what it means. Listen, God will stop things from growing and developing and progressing when there is no good manager. Because God stopped the plants from growing. God created the seed and the plant and the potential in Genesis chapter 1 verse 11. But God said, I'm not going to allow it to grow. Why? Because there is no manager. So when there is no manager, God will stop anything in your life from growing. Now this is in your Bible. It's in my Bible. And you know what is embarrassing is that it's in the first book of the Bible. God didn't hide it from us. He put it in the first book of the Bible. And in the second chapter of that first book, that's where God put it. That's where God put it. So the divine purpose for the creation of man is for the extension of heaven on earth. That is why Jesus said, thine will be done on earth as it is where? In heaven. But God is in heaven. So how will he get his will be done on earth? Through you. Through what? A manager on earth. How? For mankind to dominate the earth through work. Everyone say work. Everyone say work. God said, I stopped the flowers from growing. I stopped the tree from growing. I stopped the plants and the herb from growing. Why? Because I don't have a manager to work the ground. Work. Say with me, work. Work. Write this down. God protects his resources from bad management. It's on the screen. Write it down quickly as you can. I'm not going to rush through this. God protects his resources from bad managers. Number 2, God withhold his resources from bad management. Write it down quickly. Number 3, God won't allow growth where there is bad management. God won't allow it. He will not allow growth where there is bad management. And the one I like most is the 4th one. God does not give you what you pray for. He gives you what you can manage. God, I want $1 million. And God gave you $100 the other day. God said, wait a minute, I gave you $100 the other day, and you even failed to pay $10 tithe. And you come back to me asking for $1 million. Is God stupid or what? God will not give you what you pray for. He will give you what you can manage. Matthew 25 verse 15. It talks about the servants that he gave talents. And the Bible says in the verse 15, he gave each servant according to their abilities. You see where it's coming from? The master said he gave each of the servants that he gave talents. Some he gave 10 talents, some he gave 5 talents, some he gave 2 talents. But the Bible said that he gave every one of them according to what? Their ability. In other words, he gave them according to what they can manage. Have you ever heard that saying, God won't give you more than you can bear? Anybody heard that saying? Let me say that, don't take that saying lightly. The next time you hear it, you better believe it or not, it is literally true. God will not give you. I know most of the time when we are using that statement, we're talking about suffering. And because we don't want any more of the suffering, we say, oh, God will not give you more than you can bear. But it doesn't apply to only suffering. It's also applied to even blessings. Even blessings. God will not bless you more than you can manage. Because there are some of us, if God is to give us $1 million that we have been praying for right now, we will go out of our minds. And if you don't take it, it will kill you.
Very true.
You can manage the little $500 he bless you with. And you're asking for $1 million. God gave you $500 and you $500 and you spend $200 on your hair. And you spend $150 doing your needs. And then when you come to the church, you drop an offering of $10. Bad management. That's your neighbor said, that is a bad management. Bad management. And you're praying for God to give you $1 million. Some of you, if God answered that prayer, you will walk with your head. You will walk on your head. You'll be so confused, you will not know what to do. You may commit suicide. Help us, Lord. $1 million. manage the $100 I caused that brother or sister to bless you with. You use $500 to go to the hairstylist, $200 to go to the hairstylist out of the 500. How much is left? You use $150 to go for the, what do you call it? Manicure, pedicure. How much is left? You use $100 to go for dinner. How much is left? And then you come to church and you drop in misery $10. Telling God, God, out of the 500 you gave me, this is how I manage it. I use 250 on my hair. I use 150 on my fingernails. And then all I'm left here is a $20 to give to God. You miserable God. Shout management! I want you to get into your spirit. Shout management! God will not answer what you pray for. He will answer, He will give you what you can manage. What you can manage. So the key to your success on earth is management. And the reason why you lost your house, the reason why you failed in that business, the reason why you couldn't hold a job, the reason why you're not making a headway is because of bad management. Because of bad management. For the gifts and talents and resources He had already given you. Amen. That is why some of you can't keep up with your bill. And you keep on maxing one credit card to the other. Why? Because you never heard of the word management in church. All you heard in church was Holy Ghost. But you never heard the word management. But I want Victory Family and I want every member that worship in Victory Family to be different. Hallelujah. We have to experience the scriptures that we call, and we have to learn how to manage our God-given resources. Amen. Many years ago, that's about 18 years or over 18 years ago, because I know that is before our first daughter was born, and she's now 18. Many years ago, my wife and I, we made the determined decision that we were no more going to use credit cards. And we took every credit card that we had and we cut them into pieces. Before that, we thought that there was no way we could survive on earth without credit card. But for 18 years, God has kept us. God has blessed us. And it has even taught us how to manage our resources very well. So we will not need to go back to credit cards. Amen. Believe me or not, for 18 years, I go to places and I want to pay at the cashier and they say, yeah, you're using credit card. I said, no, I'm using the money I already have in the bank. Because if I don't have it in the bank, I won't come here anyway. I'm using a debit card. Right? Debit card is what you already have in your account. Yes. And for 18 years, we have stick through this. And we're not going back. Amen. Why? Because it has kept us debt-free from the credit card debts. Management demands work. Say with me. Management demands work. Religion makes you lazy. Say with me. Religion makes you lazy. God, I'm going to get into trouble today. Management demands work. But religion makes you lazy. That's why Christ said he didn't come to give us religion, you know. Jesus never came to give us religion. He came to give us a personal relationship with God. There was too many religions already. We didn't need another one religion.
That's true.
Right? Many Christians, the reason why they have avoided management is because they hate work. Management demands work. Religion makes you lazy. That is why many Christians love miracles above work and management. I am treading on some dangerous grounds today. And I hope you still love me even after this message. I hope when I greet you, praise the Lord, you still smile with me even after this message. Because although it's bitter, but it will help you. Many Christians would rather sit down with both hands in between the legs, waiting for a miracle. Miracles, in a way, they are like the lottery, you know. Miracles cancels or destroys work and management. That is to gain without an effort. Gaining without an effort. What's the word we give to it? It starts with G. What's the word? It starts with G. Gambling. Gambling. And brethren, that is why gambling is wrong. The reason why gambling is wrong is that God said, "Lord, I am withholding growth until I find what a manager who will work the ground." And you come and you say, "I don't want to work. I want to gamble and get it without sweating."
Amen.
And God said, "That's not the way. That's not the principle. That's not the way I created things to be." That is what lottery is all about. It cancels work. It cancels work. God is not interested in miracles than He is in putting you to work. That is why, have you, any of you noticed, when you go to God and you pray to God for money, God don't give you money, you know. He gives you ideas.
Yes. Amen. Amen.
Oh, come on, clap for this, clap for that. You need to clap for that. He doesn't give you money. He gives you ideas. How to make abundance of money. He gives you dreams and visions and ideas. Ideas for your business. Ideas for your partnership. Whoever you are partnering with to business, to do business. Ideas, visions, insights. He doesn't give you money. Whenever you go to God and say, "God, I need money," God says, "Son, get this idea." "God, you don't understand. I say I need money. Money." God said, "Go get further education." God said, "Go study business management. Go study medicine. Go study law." "God, you don't get me. I need money." God said, "You see that stove that is in your house that you use once a week? Begin to bake some cookies and start a cookie factory right from your kitchen." God gives you ideas. I told you here before, Jesus did a lot of miracles, but He never saw any of them as miracles. He saw them as works. Say work. Work. Listen to what He said. "I must work the works of Him that sent me while it is day. For the night cometh, that no man can work." At another point, He said, "The works that I do, ye shall also do. And even what? Greater works." And He was talking about miracles, but He never called it miracle. He called it what? Works. Works. Now, saints, money runs from the one who pursues it. Money is attracted to management. Let me say it again. Auntie Sarah, money runs from people who spend their whole life pursuing it. But money is attracted to people who know good management. Money is supposed to come to you. So brothers and sisters, if money is running away from you, it means there's some problem. Amen. Money knows that when they come to your lap and they fall in your hands, you know you will not manage them well. You will not manage it well. So money is running away from some of us. If money is running away from you, there is a big problem. Money is supposed to come to you. Supposed to be attracted to. Money is attracted to good managers, good management. I'm closing. God's motivation for creation of man is to have managers who will work and manage the grounds. Now, what are the grounds? The grounds are your resources. That's why I titled it, Managing Your God-Given Resources. Your grounds are your resources. I don't know whether I told you this story before, but there was a gentleman, a believer. Every business he tried failed. Every business he tried failed. Every business he laid hands on, it failed. The last business he decided to go into was baking bread, bakery business. And when he would put the bread in the oven, he was caught up with a whole lot of things. At times he even goes, set the distance and go and take a nap. And by the time he comes back, the whole bread is burnt. And he said, you know what, I can't take this anymore. Everything I tried just failed. I'm going to my pastor and tell my pastor I want to go into full-time ministry. So he went to the pastor and said, Pastor, the Lord is calling me. Pastor, I feel the pull of the Lord. Pastor, the Lord is leading me into ministry. The pastor said, now what have you been doing before this time? He said, I have been in business, but it wasn't working so well. And the pastor said, and what was the last business you ever went into? He said, I went into the bakery business. And the pastor said, and what happened to the bakery business? He said, Pastor, every time I put the bread in the oven, I get so busy doing this, doing that. At times I have to take a nap because I don't get enough sleep. By the time I come, the bread is burnt. You know what the pastor told him? The pastor said, it's better for bread to burn than for souls to burn and go to hell. Yeah. The pastor said, it's all right. Just go back to your bakery business. Because when the bread burns, it's not going to hell. But when a soul, when a living soul burns, it goes to hell. Oh my God. Jesus. You can't watch bread in the oven and allow it to burn. And you want to watch souls? You want to pastor souls? You want to lead souls? Miracles can set you up to be lazy if you are not careful. Remember when the people came to Jesus and said, Jesus, we want to see miracles. What was Jesus' response? He says what? A wicked and adulterous generation seek for signs and wonders. Jesus, we want to see miracle. We know you were a man, a great man from God. You want miracle. Jesus, we want miracles. Jesus looked at them and said that you wicked and adulterous generation. You seek for miracles, but none will be given you. God will never give you what you pray for, only what you can manage. If you can manage the apartment you are renting now and keep it neat and tidy, I am treading on some dangerous grounds. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me. Don't stone me. Let me finish. If you can manage that apartment you live now and you make it all untidy, smelly, and stinking, how will God give you your own property?
Amen.
Because God is saying you can't even manage another man's property. And you want your own. You are riding a motorcycle and you even the little motorcycle, you can't keep it clean. And you are asking God, you need a 4x4 drive. If you are not faithful on the job, God will never give you your own business. Do you notice? God always gives us employment before He gives us our own business. God always gives us employment. Why? Because God uses the period in which you are in employment, working for somebody else, to judge your faithfulness. And when you are faithful to that business owner, God will say that, you know what, you are ready to run and manage your own business. But when you are stealing time on the business, you are stealing profit on the business, how on earth do you expect God to give you your own business? You are praying for a bigger church, and God said you can't manage what you are in right now. Brethren, listen to me. That's why we ought to be very, very... Listen, when I'm walking about and I see a paper, a piece of paper on the floor, I pick it up right away. I don't walk past it. Amen. We have to be careful, church. Amen. God is watching us. Amen. God is watching. Some of you, when you come across the pieces of papers in the restroom, you just kick it aside with your feet and just go out. God is watching you. Amen. God is watching you. Church, God is watching us how we keep this property. And He giving us a bigger property will depend on how we keep this little one. Amen. So be careful. God is watching us. Amen. I want every believer, every child of God, every visitor, even if you are a visitor, every member of this church, when you come across something that is not right and you can't even fix it, call the attention of somebody. Treat it as if it is your own. And it's true that God is going to bless you to have your own. Amen. Never pray beyond your ability to manage, because God won't answer that prayer. Let me say that again. Never pray beyond your ability to manage, because God is not going to answer that prayer. Number 2, instead of attending money seminar and money workshop, rather attend management workshop. Because if you know how to manage, money will be attracted towards you. Resources will be attracted towards you. Most of us don't manage. We waste everything that we come across. And America is based or is built on a culture of waste. I'm telling you, do you know how much resources is wasted in this country? America is built on a culture of waste, and some Christians are not even aware, but they are being part of this. People walk away from church And the first place they will go is the buffet style. Eat all you can. And when they take that little plate, they try to build a mountain on that little plate. And you know that you can't eat it all. And you know that there is more. That you can always go for more. So, Jesus Christ. Why build a mountain? And they put their hands in and all what is left becomes what? Waste. Listen to me, and people are hungry in some countries. God is watching us. That's why I always advise my young people. They'll tell you, whenever we go to a place and they're selling buffet style, I always whisper to them, I always warn them, I always tell them, listen, I said, please put only a little amount on your plate. What I do when I go to these buffet places, I take a little of this, a little of this, a little of this, I go and try it. That which I like, I go back for a little more of that. To mount a plate, don't you know that you are running somebody's business down to the earth? To take a plate full and build it up. Some people build it up like 3-story building.
Yes, it's true.
And after you have put your hands in and you can't eat, it all becomes waste. And God is watching you. God is saying if you are wasting another man's resources, He's never going to give you your own. Our young people will tell you, it's something I always warn them about. I always warn them about. Always. I'm closing. I'm closing now. I'm closing. Let me. The reason why God created tithing. Tithing is not about money. Say with me, tithing is not about money. Say it again, tithing is not about my money. It's not about money. Oh God. Let me try to explain this to you. Tithing is not about money. Everything on this earth belongs to God. Anybody agree to that? Let me see my hand, those who believe that. Everything. Say everything. Everything belongs to God. So if everything belongs to God, then why God is saying, give me 10% for my work or to support my ministry if everything belongs to Him? It is not because God needs it. God don't need anything from us. God doesn't need anything from us. Yet He tells us to pay 10% of our earnings, or to give 10% of our earnings to Him. Yet He doesn't need anything. It is not about money. If you get 10 suits in your closet, one belongs to somebody. For every 10 suits, for every 10 dresses, for every 10 attire that you have in your wardrobe, one out of the 10 belongs to somebody. It doesn't belong to you. For every 10 shoes that you have in your closet, one don't belong to you. For every 10 apples or bananas that you have in your hands, one don't belong to you. One don't belong to you. You have 24 hours in a day. 2.4 hours don't belong to you. I'm going to get into trouble. You have 24 hours. Everybody have 24 hours? Yes. We have 24 hours in a day. 2.4 hours don't belong to you. And you are crying and you are telling God, God, I could hardly find time. I could hardly find time to do that. And God said, I give you 2.4 of your hours to use it for me. What did you use it for? What did you use it for? You sit behind a television and you flip from channel to channel, and before you know, 3 hours is gone and you don't even see. And God said that take 2.4 hours out of your 24 hours for me. And he said, God, I don't have much time. So I need to use the 2.4 hours as well. It is all about principle. Say with me, principle. Principle. It's about principle. It's about principle. If you think it's all about money, but money isn't your problem. Money isn't your problem. Life is not all about money. What is your problem is management. Good management is your problem. It's not about money. So giving tithes or offering is not about money. God is testing your discipline. Listen to this. When you give tithes, God is testing your discipline, your consistency to continually put away 10% for His purposes. Say with me, 100% of everything belongs to God. Say it.
100% of everything belongs to God.
How much belongs to God?
100%.
How much belongs to God?
100%.
So, if God blesses you with a check of $1,000, how much belongs to God?
100%.
How much in dollars belongs to God?
100.
You didn't get the lesson. Let's go back. Say with me, 100% of everything belongs to God.
100% of everything belongs to God.
Let's say it again.
100% of everything belongs to God.
So if God blesses you with $1,000, how much money belongs to God? How? You're being very smart. Very smart. I like that. $1,000. And how much did God say you should give towards His work? 10%. How much?
10%.
And when you give 10%, how much is left behind?
90%.
Did you say 9? 90%. So, listen to this. So, if all 100% belongs to God, why would God want you to put aside 10% towards His work? God could have asked you to put 90% towards His work. Is that true?
Yes.
He could have asked you to put 70%, something more, 70% towards His work. Is that true?
Yes.
But He doesn't say much. He said put away what? 10%. It means it is not about the money. It is about the discipline to be able to continually and consistently put aside the 10%. It's not about the money, it's about discipline. Discipline. And if you can manage the 10% properly, then God will be more than happy to give you the 90% and bless the 90% and make sure that the 90% is able to take care of your needs. If you are able to manage the 10% properly. I know some Christians, when they go for vacation for 2 weeks, their tithe goes on vacation as well for 2 weeks and never come back. They return from vacation, but their tithe never return from vacation. I know some believers also that if they miss church one Sunday, the following Sunday when they come to church, they make sure that what they double up on what they missed the week before. So you see why God is blessing some believer and some believer is struggling. It's because of their faithfulness.
Amen.
Amen. Glory to God.
Many Christians come from a place called Holybrook. They are holy and broke.
Amen.
You've never met any of those Christians who come from Holybrook? Sister Banks, they are holy and broke. They come from Holybrook. That's their hometown. The next time I see a Christian who comes from Holybrook, I'll show you. Do you come from Holybrook, brother? You don't, right? You are holy and blessed. Sister Sarah, I know you don't come from Holybrook. Many believers come from Holybrook. They are holy and broke. Why? Because they mess up or they mismanage the 10% that God says, put aside, don't touch it, that belongs to me. They meddle with that 10%. And God messes up the 90%. Now tithing is tithing. What tithing does to you? Read number one. What is number one? Say it loud. Write it down. Number two. Number three. Honesty. Listen, whatever amount you put in the offering as your tithe, the pastor don't know, the usher don't know, nobody knows, but who knows it? God knows it. Are you honest with your tithing? You think you can throw some little penny in it and then approach God and say, God, this is my tithe. And you know it's not a tenth of your earning or whatever God bless you. Honesty. What is the next one? Diligent. Diligent. God is trying you with the 10%. If you will be diligent, if you will make sure, diligent is that you are enforcing it. You are making sure, you are reminding yourself, you are making sure that it is done the way God wants it to be done. Diligent. What is the next lesson tithing teaches? Faithfulness. Will you be faithful in the little? God said that all is mine, but put aside this 10%. Not 70%, not 80%. How much? 10%. You see, the reason why God made it so small is that the idea behind it is not to get your money, but is to try your faithfulness. What is the next lesson tithing teachers? Please write all this thing down. Make sure you write it down. I'm done. Let us all stand. I'm done. I'm done. This is just an introduction. Next week I'm going to define management. And I'm going to get into it. The Lord showed me something that blew my mind. You remember there is a parable that we don't hear much about. We know about the parable of the prodigal son, we know about the parable of the talents, we know about many parables, but there's a parable in the Bible called the parable of the minas. The parable of the minas. And in the parable of the minas, it looks very much like the parable of the talents, where the Lord gave the various people different talents. Some he gave 5 talents, some he gave 10 talents, some he gave 15 talents. But in the parable of the minas, the Lord, or the master, the Lord of the vineyard, he gave all the servants equal. And I was asking the Lord a question. Lord, why is it that in the first parable, he gave them different amounts of talents, but in the parable of the minas, he gave them equal? He said, the Bible said he gave them 10, he called 10 of his servants, and he gave them 10 minas. And the word minas is a similar word to talent, but it's a lower value. And I was asking God, but God, why is it that the first parable that you gave us, right, the Lord or the master gave them different amounts of money, but in the parable of the minas, he gave them equal. 10 employees, 10 servants, and he gave them 10 minas, meaning 1 mina each. And the Lord opened my eyes. I want to share it with you today. come this week.